Morning guys, and welcome back to Costa Teguise here on the island of Lanzarote. Beautiful day. It's a view down into the town, and I'm going to take you on a little trip today. And the first thing I need to do is apologise because it is so incredibly blustery. It's been very windy the whole week. We were out.
Turn left onto Calle La Laguna.
And I'm following instructions, as you probably heard there, where to go. As I said, we arrived yesterday. It was incredibly breezy, which is one of the reasons why our plane was an hour and a half taking off from Bristol. And the friends we met with last night said that actually that was the mildest evening they'd experienced in terms of wind since they arrived a week ago. So it probably gives you some idea as to how windy it has been here. I was going to film this on my Osmo Pocket 3, but unfortunately my Pocket 3 has developed a fault this morning and doesn't want to get involved in any filming, which is frustrating to say the least. But hopefully we can rectify that for later on in the month. If not, everything will be filmed on my mobile phone. Anyway, as you can probably tell from the glimpses of Costa Teguise that you're seeing, two things: palm trees, which there are plenty, and white painted houses, which there are even more. Costa Teguise is a purpose-built tourist village. I believe it was back in the 90s that the chairman, if I've got this right, of Rio Tinto, whom I'm sure many of you have heard of, the great mining company, purchased 12 million, I believe it was, acres of land here and began the building. And things were going fine until the financial crash. And there was a financial crisis which lasted about 7 or 8 years between 2008 and 2016, when the building came to a bit of a standstill. But from what we've seen, as we've had brief glimpses of the town as we've travelled to it from the airport, things are picking up again, and there is more building work going on. Lanzarote, together with Fuerteventura, the two oldest of the Canary Islands, both of them developed or born through volcanic activity. And as you can see just by looking around, beyond the town, the land is very sparse. There's not a great deal of vegetation. There's no huge pastures or fields. It's very much rockery and stones that dominate this predominantly sort of dark grey, black and brown landscape. So quite sparse in terms of vegetation by our friends the palm trees, but really quite beautiful as well in its austerity. Yeah. up a bit further here. This is what looks like a football ground. A complex of Deportivo Costa Teguise. So I'm presuming that that is the local club, or the training ground certainly, of the local club through there. All put together in this rather stylish and lovely black stone. It's a bit out of the way, I suppose. But yeah, we'll see if we can get a better view from around the corner here. I'm trying not to talk too much when the wind gets up, because I know my words are going to be carried away on the breeze, so to speak. And of course you can't legislate for a sudden gust of wind that suddenly swirls around and whips your voice away. Got the sun at my back now, and that sun is pretty warm. I said when that wind dies down, you really appreciate how warm it can be. There's the wind getting up again. Alright, so let's move over here and see. So here we are, guys. Now much further out of town. And what an extraordinary landscape we have. And we just pull into this human parking space here and show you the island. People on top of that hill, and of course back down there somewhere in the centre of the picture is where I've come from. A bit more to do yet. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a view. I'll just sort of zoom in a little over there towards the interior Lanzarote. Just heard some cyclists go by saying not many people make it to the top. I can perhaps understand why. It's quite steep in places. There's another road over there. Perhaps a better impression of where Costa Teguise is. I mean, It's around 400 metres from the beach. At the end of the road, turn right, walk down into Costa Teguise, and there you are. But let's carry on for a little bit and see how far we go. Okay. Well, I only made it about a quarter of the way up, but here's the view. Costa Teguise. Looking down towards the sea. That gives you some idea. I'm sure the views are amazing from the top, but no, today I don't have the energy for that. Sorry. But I hope it gives you some idea. And if you have got the energy and do make it to the top, then please post some pictures, because I would love to see them. Okay, so from here, on some mountain, whose Spanish name would dislocate my tongue, I bid you a good afternoon. Right then guys, let's wend our way back. Big shout out there to Priya and Dom. I just met on the climb up the side of the hill. Hope they have a great remainder of their holiday and safe trip home. Nice to have a chat with them about life, work, the joys of autism and ADHD, and all things in between. Always great when you're out enjoying things and you bump into people with whom you have something in common, and you can have a chat with them and get their views on the state of the world and the state of Lanzarote, which I hope you'll agree has its charms. As I said, it's not the lush, verdant greenery of Kerala we're talking about here. It's very much what you might term a lunar landscape, I suppose. Volcanic. But nonetheless, I think it's quite impressive. And the towns, or certainly Costa Teguise, with all its white glazed buildings, really does stand out, doesn't it? There, as I speak, another plane taking off, just going through the picture now. Taking some people home, or perhaps they're going on holiday to somewhere nice. Anyway, I shall follow the road, stroke path, back down to the town, and I shall catch up with you all again when I get there.